Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the ESL Cup, the Community Cup, I should say. Actually weird, I haven't called it Go for Heroes yet, so I guess that hasn't, sunk in yet, but yeah. Mr. Seth Lynch, Mr. Shane Gucher, it has been a while. How you been enjoying the games tonight?
Good, man. I love watching these teams, even though it might not be to the standard of what we're used to casting and used to seeing. It's still exciting to watch these more amateur-level teams play on a very surprisingly high level, but with unorthodox strategies. And anytime, I mean, as an avid esports connoisseur, not connoisseur, but lover of esports as a whole, I've always loved watching the amateur scenes of whatever game it was I was watching at the time, whether it be Dota 2, Counter-Strike, League, whatever. Because it's so many times that these amateur teams or lesser-known teams do something that, with great success, then it just completely changes how the game is played. I love watching these games, and I'm finally able to cast some amateur games, and I'm hoping we see something like that tonight. And it's a very good possibility. Unfortunately, the laser isn't going to be changing the meta anytime soon, Sean. But nonetheless, still a lot of potential to see something like that out of these games.
All right, so just going to give the go-ahead here to our teams when we get this draft rolling. We're going back to Dragonshire, the Nexus Globetrotters up against 7th Heaven here for the semifinals. And yeah, we are basically ready to go. 7th Heaven definitely has some names that some of you might actually recognize. Kiefer's is in here from attendance. X2Arc, we got Bella Morte, Anxiety Law. If anybody hears from the good old League of Legends days, we've actually been seeing a few different ex-pros kind of coming on over. Chu has been cited out. Atlanta, Zuna, obviously. iDream. I mean, MOBAs are MOBAs. Dendy? No, there's no Dendy.
He's from League, right?
Heroes. Dendy?
I'm joking.
I just went right there, and I wanted to just right through the internet and karate chop you right there.
Yeah, if there's only a way you could go back to the webcam and just paste the troll face over my head right there, that would have been perfect. Anyways,
I'm not editing
back
that in.
Into the draft here. The map is Dragonshire once again, as you mentioned, Dargonshire for those of Solid Egg fans. The Nexus Globetrotters went ahead and banned out the Sergeant Hammer, so no Hammer this time, Sean. And Stitches being banned out for 7th Heaven. And 7th Heaven immediately not only banning the Stitches, but first picking ETC. So 7th Heaven going with a strategy early on in the draft of constricting Nexus Globetrotters options for frontline warriors. I like that.
And somebody actually asked in the chat, and this is an amateur league, so I mean, you feel free to ask questions, guys. We'll get to them when we can. But why ETC? Why is there a rise of the ETC? And the basic gist of it comes down to he hasn't been touched. He's still just as powerful as he used to be, whereas comparatively, we keep seeing these nerfs on a lot of our more favorite heroes that fill up that warrior slot. I mean, Arthas has had his survivability hit, the tankiness of the Nubarak. Chen doesn't have a free life bar. Stitches with the hooks have definitely been, there's definitely more downtime between them because they increase the cooldowns. And that kind of leaves you with the Battle Count or Mirrodin or Diablo. Diablo did get reworked a little bit of love, so you have been seeing him crop up every now and then, but in terms of the viability of any of them, a lot of people just really like the utility of the Battle Count.
Looking into this draft, I really like the draft on both teams right now. Nexus Globetrotters had second pick, so they had those 2 picks back-to-back. They picked up the Witch Doctor Nazebo. With Nazebo not being banned out, usually you're going to see him picked up pretty damn quick in the current North American meta. And knowing that one of the tools that you can effectively use to negate Ravenous Spirit being Malfurion, they went ahead and grabbed it for themselves, not only securing themselves a phenomenal healing support in Malfurion, also denying 7th Heaven the potential of getting that Malfurion as a tool to help negate the Witch Doctor. But here, and Rhaegar was not banned, and Rhaegar is yet to be picked. So a double healing support draft is definitely, there's definitely a good potential for it here, Sean, on both sides of the coin here from both teams. Nexus Globetrotter is getting their 3rd pick right now. They already have a healing support. They can go with another damage assassin if they choose to do so. Zeratul's in there. Illidan is still up there. Tacidar's there as well. And there you go, Sean. There's that Diablo you were talking about. So we're seeing Diablo pretty early in the draft.
I'm actually surprised that we're not seeing an Illidan, but at the same time, if you look at 7th Heaven, between the power slides and the face melts and the stun. Don't break your chair, sir. And the divine judgments. Wow, that chair just really threw me all off. Uther and ETC deter the Illidan because of the amount of crowd control they bring. How do you deal with an Illidan? You crowd control the heck out of them. So, on the flip side, though, the Nexus Globetrotters, a good frontliner there with the Diablo, now the only hero with essentially Resurgence, if anybody goes back that far out there. And they're actually going to add a Tychus to that. So we are going a little bit more old school with some Tychus and Falstead pickups today. Vala, however, has not really left the scene. She's still pretty much #1 pick ban assassin. But, you know, you mentioned a little bit about a Zeratul a bit earlier. This could be a really nice setup for the Wombo Nexus Globetrotters with a VP into Apocalypse into Ravenous. I have seen that happen these last few weeks. And I think the Globetrotters, I think that's what they're going to go for.
Yeah, it's very good potential for that, man. Or not potential, but definitely that's what they're lining up to get out here. Seventh Heaven could totally go just Tassadar Illidan or Rhaegar Illidan. Rhaegar Illidan's an option as well. So we are seeing the Rhaegar Uther. That's an incredibly strong double support. If you're going to go double support, boys, generally Uther Rhaegar is the choice for you right there. Their fifth and final pick from Seventh Heaven. I can definitely see Illidan maybe fitting in here, though, as you mentioned before, there's the Roots, there's also the Diablo to take him out, and there's still that fifth pick to be concerned about. But with the Rhaegar and Uther to fall back on with the Cleanse and the zoning control that an ETC has, I think they have a good potential for it. Because Illidan really fits well into duo support lineups, duo healing support lineups. I would love to see that. Tassadar, no, I don't think they're going to go Tassadar here. I think Illidan would be the premier choice here for Seventh Heaven. I mean, looking at other options they have, Jaina actually could be a possibility for them. I don't know Seventh Heaven enough to know that usually Jaina is picked up for very specific teams who play around her. But definitely Jaina can be a pretty effective tool if they want to maybe, you know, put a lot of control into that Diablo. Because the moment Diablo has used Shadow Charge, he doesn't have much after that. And if Jaina is, you know, really smart, a Jaina player is really smart about positioning here, she can absolutely tear up that Diablo with the large Blizzard AoE and really helps negate what he does. And no, we're going to see an Asmodon. So we're going to see the Asmodon picked up here on Dragonshire. I like that a lot. Seventh Heaven is drafting pretty damn well here, man. They have the double support, the Asmodon. So they're doing that strategy that we've seen was built up from Symbiote Game. I'm sorry, not Symbiote Gaming. Good lord, Temple Storm.
Whoa.
So Seventh Heaven's late game is amazing.
What?
And Nexus Globetrotters going with the Illidan Diablo. So they have the two really dive heavy heroes. This Vala on Seventh Heaven is gonna have a nightmare of a game, man. This Vala Demon Hunter is gonna just have to play so well to not get constantly picked off by the Illidan Diablo here. I like both of these drafts. I'm looking forward to this, man. What are your thoughts on this draft so far, man?
I'm really surprised it's not a Zeratul and it is the Illidan. As you said, Seventh Heaven has a much better comp to support that Illidan, but at the end of it all, they actually go for the Asmo Dunk, and we'll talk a bit about what exactly that means in a little bit, but I'm just really just concerned about that last pick here from the Globetrotters because we have so many ways to deal with that Illidan. Like, he can't dodge out a stacking dunk coming out from the Asmodan with the multi-shot build or even just the single target. We've seen 2 single target Valas tonight, by the way. And the lockup here available with Seventh Heaven, I really am surprised to see an Illidan jumping into that because I don't think he's going to live, but you know, hey, that's me. We might actually be able to set up these perfect wombos with the Globetrotters. If we go for the Apocalypse into the Ravenous, if we go for, you know, the Roots, you can throw into that. If it's not, then it's going to be the Lightning Breath, and they're literally just going to be looking to burst someone down and use Illidan for the body blocks.
This is I really like how these drafts lined up here, man. I think this is going to be a very fun. I think this is going to be a contrasting game to the one we just casted. I don't think we're going to see as static lanes. I think we're going to see some early game aggression, especially in the party lane bottom one and in the bottom lane there. That's going to be exciting to see. But waiting for these teams to ready up here. Casters are good.
I don't know how many times I have to say we're good.
We go. You said it. I said it. You guys ready?
You can't be mad. I mean, it could be this guy's first time.
Ready?
Like, I'm actually of a big stance that we should make a tutorial series to help the amateur teams get into like what you need to do to set up this stuff for the cast, for the actual tournament, to keep things going. because it's not the first time I've seen kind of like little stutteries and stalls like that. But that is neither here nor there. Mr. Shane Gucci, as we're jumping into the semis here, the ESL Community Cup NA. Mr. Shane Gucci and FourCourtJester, and Seventh Heaven and Nexus Globetrotters. Again, Seventh Heaven, some names that you will recognize from the last stream, but the Nexus Globetrotters definitely has some bigger names amongst their roster. Please introduce them for us, sir.
So, on the left side of your map, ladies and gentlemen, the Bella Morte playing the Illidan. There's going to be Keepers on the Diablo. Anxiety LOL, a League player, at least that's what you say, Sean. Playing the Tychus, Teebs playing the Malfurion, and Kha'Zix playing the Witch Doctor. Who do we have on the right side of the map here, man?
Have you never heard of the Kha'Zix? No?
I'm not.
It's a bit of an older word for sure.
Okay, understand.
Flip side though, Seventh Heaven, if my overlays are correct, yeah, and I do believe they are. Looks like Kill the Hype is actually gonna go top there with that Vala, but look at this dunk squad in the middle. It's Akaro, Short Steve, Nick Star, and Phaser, but unfortunately, Blue's not falling for it. Not today, guys. Now, Short Steve, we've been talking about the Asma dunk. We're going to see what kind of posturing is going to happen here in the mid. But what we've been seeing is, where is he? This stacking Q build with this Taste for Blood. 2 extra damage for everything you kill with your Q. I've tried it. It's not that easy to stack in a very short order. Arthamon makes it look easy from Tempo Storm. The guys that basically invented this strategy, but at the same time, he's just going to be looking to farm out these lanes, kill off the minions with those Qs, and a big advantage of this map is that it's very small. It is very easy to stack from 2 separate lanes at once for Short Steve. So we're going to keep an eye on him this entire game. And now you know a little bit about the Asma dunk.
I'm looking at the strategy from Seventh Heaven here, and I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. They initially had a 4-man mid lane. They pushed it out. Asmodon didn't get a single kill with his Q, and then they rotated bottom. Now Asmodon's going mid. I think they're trying to figure out what they want to do, maybe trying to adjust their lanes according to what Globetrotters are doing. But right now, finally, they have at least one person in every single lane. But you already see the experience discrepancy due to that kind of lack of decision-making that they had. They're already down in experience by a rather significant amount. They're going to have level 4 well before 7th Heaven, and this is going to enable them to get control of the lane and, more importantly, get control of these shrines. Up here in the top lane, Illidan versus Demon Hunter, actually, they're both very, very low. Bella Morte, though, he looks like he's going to get the better of that exchange. He actually already forced out the Fountain Tap from Kill the Hype, so he's going to have to hearth away, hit the showers, heal up, get back to lane, and this is going to enable, once again, Globetrotters to continue to push their experience advantage. And right now, the early game already going their way. This Asmodon looks like, what is he at right now? Asmodon is only at 2 bonus damage so far, so he's got a lot of catching up to do. He's already behind just from the get-go, man.
As I said, it's not as easy as it looks. The teams that are out there that have tried the Asma dunk, that have tried it, practiced it, very, very easy to spot those that are, not as big into it. But man, Bella Morte, he is just going to town. This could be first blood right there on top of Kill the Hype, but he decides to play it safe. It's not worth the risk. Either way, he has now kept the pressure on that top lane. Kill the Hype is basically forced right behind tower, losing even more experience for the team. And that's just a bad matchup. I mean, Vala and a tank, she can deal with that, but the aggression, the lifesteal, the survivability of Bella Morte on that Illidan, there's nothing that the Vala can really do for it at this point. Between the evasion and the only hewing available to Kill the Hype is the siphoning arrow. It's a sustained fight that she just cannot win.
So, I mean, looking at these teams' overarching strategy specific to the draft and the map is that they have 7th Heaven has, as long as they build up this Asmodon has a lot of ground to cover between now and like the late game. But as long as they have the double support, they have the Asmodon, who obviously just scales exponentially into the late game. They have to play smart about it. They have to not give up too much ground to, I almost said to Globetrotters, or else they're just going to get run over by the time that Asmodon really comes online. And what I meant, basically, he has an exponential factor where the moment he's able to clear out waves with just one dunk, then all of a sudden he just scales. His scaling graph, per se, just shoots up incredibly. But he's got to really have to pick up the pace as they're down an entire level. This bottom lane is already pushed in. The fort is exposed. Both of the shrines are taken for the Globetrotters. Now, Seventh Heaven is actually missing Soak in this top lane, so they're not soaking as efficiently as they could. I think they were just maybe really afraid of them giving up a Dragon Knight. But a Dragon Knight at 4 minutes really isn't worth giving up lane soak, especially when you're already behind an experience, Sean.
Yeah, and Kill the Hype, he gets intercepted on his way back up top, loses most of his hit points in that trade. And Bella Morte has been playing a very patient Illidan game into that top. He's been able to push it in repeatedly, has put up the shrine pressure. The rest of blue is now actually going to be coming through the mid, but there's no big pressure being applied here by the Globetrotters. I mean, they all just went mid right now, which we could only assume to secure a dragon, and they did not rush it down whatsoever. I think they're going to be waiting just a little bit longer. They might be waiting for the 10 trigger. They might be waiting for a fight and then a quick dragon so that they can just maximize the damage out of that. We do got some talents on the board, however, Shane. Anything that catches your eye?
It looks like some fairly standard stuff across the board. The battle momentum. So the Demon Hunter, Kill the Hype, last time went with the Siphoning Arrow. We talked about it a little bit last game. This time looks like he's going to go with the Siphon Arrow at level 1, but then transition into a multi-shot build, going with the Arsenal, the grenades at level 4, and then battle momentum followed up at level 7. So it's looking like he's going to transition more to a multi-shot build, which is kind of the try to intrude build that we've seen before. Level 10 is here for the Globetrotters, and they are going to pick up their ultimates, and we're going to see the Lightning Breath, the Halitosis coming out of the Diablo here. So more about that damage than they are about the Apocalypse. Going to see how that pans out for him. But yeah, Bella Morte has just been absolutely bossing this Demon Hunter out of lane, and that's one of Illidan's really great one-on-one matchups, is he just absolutely dookies on Vale throughout the whole entire match. A good Illidan player can make a Vala's life a living hell, especially when you have a Diablo on your team as well. That's why I really like the Diablo Illidan pickup for Globetrotters, is because they are going to be able to just completely take this Vala out of the team fights, even with double support. As long as they play it right, this Demon Hunter is going to be contributing absolutely nothing once we see these 5-on-5 team fights.
Well, speaking of, contributing not really much of anything, it's Red is not being able to put up any kind of pressure right now. They've lost both the shrines, top fort, like nobody came up to help Kill the Hype. Instead, they went creeping and murking into the bottom lane. There goes Asman. That's actually our first blood at the 6.5 minute. But that also now puts us at level 12 to level 10. We had a little bit more of a pile up into the bottom lane here from from Seventh Heaven, but unfortunately they're just not able to put up the map pressure that's needed on the Dragon Shard. They're just slowly losing even without a dragon, and I'm more than convinced right now that the Globetrotters are intentionally not taking dragons.
Yes, and looking at this Asmodon pickup right now, as I mentioned before, the Seventh Heaven has to not give up too much ground, and right now their ground is already crumbling beneath their feet, Sean. This Asmodon here at a 4-minute mark, when I was watching Arthalon play the Asmodon, I always paid attention to the 4-minute mark. At 4 minutes, a good Asmodon player should have anywhere between 50 and 70 built-up damage on his Q with the Taste of Blood talent. We are at the 7-minute mark, and he has 26. This Asmodon is way behind right now, and it's a lot of ground to cover. He is not going to contribute much to anything, and especially when you have a double support lineup with an Asmodon that isn't doing much, you are already on the back foot. So right now, Globetrotters is just going to be dribbling across the field, and they are about to, I mean, they're going to be shooting 3 points for a long time to come here, John.
And once more, we see just on the retreat, it is going to be the map presence here from blue. They keep getting these mercs and then sustaining with them. The bottom fort is now toast. This gate is looking, worse and worse for wear. Here comes the lightning breath just to seal the deal. One tower, the gate, and the third. Keeper's saying, yeah, well, they're probably not going to team fight us, so why not just get the gate? And they do. They're up almost 3 levels on paper. It's closer to 2. In reality, but still at this point, I mean, we haven't seen team fights. Nobody's committing to 5s. There's 1 kill in 8.5 minutes. Yeah. Very atypical Heroes game, if I may say so.
Now, Globetrotters don't really have to commit to team fights. They can just play to the objective. Now, obviously, through the objective, there's just going to be team fights around it. But they don't really have to commit to any sort of push without a Dragon Knight, because they know they're way ahead. If they are paying any attention at all, which I'm sure they are, they know that Asmodon is not doing that much right now. He's way behind on stacking his damage. For those of you that come from other MOBAs like League of Legends or Dota, imagine having like a very low CS point deep into a game. That's essentially what's happening with this Asmodon right now. He is just not doing what he needs to do. So Globetrotters knows this, and they can just go around. They can go to the objectives, pick up a Dragonite, just play to the map, and they don't have to overcommit at all. They know they're ahead. They're just going to do the good old expression that we all know and love so much, that when you're ahead, just get more ahead. That's exactly what they're doing here.
I believe it was Tastosis that kind of brought that thing around.
And,
believe it or not, you can find them on Heroes tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, I'm getting up early, I know that. But, you know, this team, they did not have a good early game. The 7th Heaven right now is just, they're still on paper 2 levels behind. We're finally going to see our first Dragonite, and it's going to be Keepers, who does actually soak up that last dunk, but it's not going to be near enough. Was that a Mosh attempt? I don't think so, because it's actually still up on its cooldown, but Vala dies off stream, and it's just Globetrotters. I mean, they're doing the Knicks and the Knacks, and they got their theme song rolling, but finally now they're going to be putting some points up on the board.
Anytime I see an Asmodon, I always get giddy with excitement, because that means I get to make NBAGM quotes in the middle of team fights. But right now, the Asmodon is not the one dunking. It's the Globetrotters who are dominating the court right now with their fantastic plays, John. And it's just a lot of basketball puns and quotes to be thrown around here. But I'm going to keep it to a minimum right now. Right now, the Dragonite just pushing down the tier 2 towers in the mid lane. They're not once again, they're not over-committing. They're just kind of pushing in lightly, going, okay, we can get this. Not over-committing the team fights, and they know that they just have the advantage. They're not diving it too hard here. And as I say that, the anxiety getting a little ahead of himself there. And they're just, okay, well, there's a mosh pit onto one, but that immediately gets knocked away, and Chester Healing already being used. There's the halitosis onto 3 of them. Bella Morte going completely salted ham here. He's going to get 2 taken down for him right now. He's got to be careful. He is going to be able to juke, jive, and parkour his way to safety. And it looks like right now, Globetrotters is just outclassing at 7th Heaven right now. And I think it's just that Asmodon pick has just done absolutely nothing in this these team fights throughout the course of the game, attributed to the fact that the Demon Hunter is having one nightmare of a game with the fact that he's facing a Diablo and an Illidan. Now, we got to be careful here. Keeper's just from 2-arc, and if 2-arc does something, it's usually they get the core to 2%, but no, they're going to be able to seal the deal here. Okay, so
it's well not 2-arc at all.
It's well done to the Globetrotters to take the game down there, and I think we're seeing the veteran team, maybe not from this MOBA game specifically, but these players are all very veteran in a competitive environment. They were able to keep their cool and in a very convincing manner take down 7th Heaven, man.
Yeah, 7th Heaven, unfortunately, not going to be enjoying a rerun of their previous success. Yeah. But the Globetrotters, I mean, as I said, they came out onto the field. They started doing them trick shots. But the top lane was a big weakness. The mid lane was another big weakness right there of 7th Heaven. They had Vala up top against the Illidan, and there was absolutely no way she was winning those fights. Got into a skirmish, tapped the well. Got into a skirmish, had to go back. Got into a skirmish, lost all her health. It just was not her lane. That did lead us into a heck of a lot of an experience shift. And then, of course, as you said, I mean, the Asmodon had a good setup. Unfortunately, as I said, it's not as easy as Arthelon makes it look. That is a coordinated team on Tempo Storm that is allowing 30, 40, 50 stacks of damage in that short time frame. I'm actually impressed that he got to 26 personally, because every time I was on camera, he didn't really get anything out of it. Even with the Black Pool, he was just hitting like a kitten. And it's unfortunate because, you know, you have this body on your team and you need it to do stuff, but the Asmodon just really wasn't much of a contributor to that fight. And then because you lose 2 lanes, you're almost guaranteed, you know, lose lane, lose game. And when you lose 2 out of 3 of them, like, we didn't even need those early dragons. So Globetrotters,
yeah, it's just they're looking great, man. I said it between the matches, you heard me say it, that I can see Globetrotters just by looking at the names and from what you've told me, that they can definitely be kind of an up-and-coming team. Absolutely, because they have a lot of just as a whole, the amount of experience that they have in competitive MOBAs is a substantial amount, and I could definitely see a lot of good things that come out of them. Right now, I think they're just from seeing their play right there, I'm absolutely going to put them as a favorite to win this tournament today.
Well, do we actually know who they're going to be going up against? Because coming up next is going to be the finals, and the finals, you know, the top 2 teams. I am actually now really psyched about this because you forced my hand, took on ESV Tempest in the first round. We casted that. They then beat ESV Wildfire.
Impressive.
Ooh. And now they're taking on Infernus Gaming, I think, over on the Party Foul stream right now. So we're going to load that up and take a quick look there. But if this team has beat out both of the ESV sisters, and now they're taking on Infernus Gaming, that actually puts a lot of weight to them, in my mind, to be the contenders for the final slot here, up against the Nexus Globetrotters for the best of 3 to determine who goes home with the guts and glory. But until we actually have that, unfortunately, we're going to have to put the stream on standby, and we're going to go check out twitch.tv/thepartyfoul, and come join us over there, guys, as we watch the other semis. And then when we return, it will be game 1 of our best of 3 of the finals. Who will it be up against the Globetrotters? Can they bring out those trick shots? Well, we're going to find out. So we'll see you guys in a few. See you soon.